Hello and welcome back to the Hurricane of Football podcast. I'm your host Seth, and today I'm joined by Premier League. The first match we are going to talk about is West Ham Sunderland. But are you expecting West Ham to get anything from this match?
Nah, like very surprised with the results. I wasn't expecting West Ham to get results. The most I was expecting was a draw, but for them to win 3-1 is quite surprising. I didn't see the game, but I just realized the results. So surprising results for West Ham.
I feel it looks like they are picking up a bit of form considering their last match. They beat Tottenham 2-1. It looks like the players are finally being receptive to what Nuno Espirito Santo has been saying. Because I remember 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you saw the reports, there was even a report that Callum Wilson was considering terminating his contract. Then last week he scored the winner, and this week he came on as a substitute. It looks like they are finally being more receptive to what he's doing. And right now it's looking tight at the bottom. It's really, really looking tight at the bottom.
I mean, they can use this win as momentum the next game to get themselves out of the bottom. But like looking at the table right now, I don't see whose place like who will take their place because Nottingham Forest I feel like are too good to enter the relegation race. And Leeds, the form they are on, I don't see them dropping back unless Crystal Palace because right now Crystal Palace have dropped
Yeah,
in.
Crystal Palace have been in. They have been a mess in the cup the past few weeks. Since them crashing out of the FA Cup. The
Yeah, but Crystal Palace too I think most of their bad form is due to their lack of depth because right now they are playing in how do you call it, Europe, playing quite a lot more games. They don't have bad depth to compete that I think. Because you realize, Abi, you realize that after their conference league game, that's when their bad form started. After their last conference league game, they played against Shelbourne. They haven't won a game since then. That was in 5th December. That was their last conference league game, and since then they've not won a game up till now, 17 January. So it's mostly due to the fact they
I
lack
don't.
depth and they are
I
losing
don't
senior
think.
players right now.
I don't think it's only that. I feel like there's a whole lot of uncertainty around the club, considering McGay has left. Oliver Glasner has announced he'll be leaving at the end of the season. Don Philippe Mateta also wants to leave. There are rumors that he wants to join either Aston Villa or Juventus. It looks like Eze also left us. It looks like a team that won the FA Cup last year. You would have thought they would have been able to retain their players to build on it, but it looks like everything is being dismantled. Only just a season after winning the trophy, which, if you're a Crystal Palace fan, is disappointing because you would want some sort of continuity, but it looks like the band is breaking up. And also, I just checked the fixtures. The next match, next week Sunday, Crystal Palace play Nottingham Forest, and that match could be a relegation 6 pointer because yeah, I get what they're saying that Forest are good to go down, but Forest are have 22 points, West Ham have 22. Basically, Forest are to lose their next two matches, and even West Ham win one, West Ham will go about Forest. So I don't think it's impossible for Forest to drop. But let's touch briefly on Sunderland. I feel like would you say Sunderland have lost a bit of momentum, considering the start they had been on the season? They have lost a bit of momentum.
Um, Sunderland. Now, I'd say right now, okay, compared to the beginning of the season, yes, they've lost quite a bit of momentum. But like, at the beginning of the season, they were overperforming, and nobody really expected them to be where they are right now. So just right now, as their form has come down a little bit, I think it's just them leveling out what they were overperforming at the beginning of the season. Because right now, this is where their team is supposed to be. Like based on the fact that they came up into the Premier League, their performances are what they are delivering right now. I still think they were overperforming right now. They are just their level.
Okay.
The next match we'll talk about is Burnley versus Tottenham. That after the season they had last season, the worst season they've ever had. The worst season they've ever had, 17th place. You'd think that this season they'll be performing better than they did last season, but as it turns out, bringing in Thomas Frank hasn't really changed their fortunes for them. And injuries to their main creative players has been a burden on the team. Players like Lasevsky and Madison, even Kudus is injured right now. So they are lacking a bit of creativity in their team. At this point
And
in it,
it also feels like they are centre backs are now their ones scoring, becoming their strikers basically. Their centre backs seem to be
yeah,
like Romero has moved into prime Ronaldo, where he just scores goals. He just seems to be rescuing them week after week. It looks like for all the money they spent in the summer on attacking players, it feels like they are nowhere where they're supposed to be.
yeah. Because as you
Top
were saying,
scorer
there is Richarlison, who is on 7 goals, and their next top goal scorer is Christian Romero alongside Van de Ven. They both have 4 goals, and you have to go down. Okay, just three. Go down the list to see another attacker on that list, which Matisse still, but he only has 2 goals. Their forwards are severely underperforming them.
and it's a bit surprising because Thomas Frank made Mbeumo score 20 goals, Wesa score 19 goals, and the fact that he's struggling to make this Tottenham attack tick is a bit concerning. But let's see how they progress when they come with it because it feels like anytime they want to sack him, he wins the Champions League, then he buys himself some time, then it feels like this they are just in a loop of when I find at some point you just have to decide that if they cut their loss and just sack him.
Did you say win the Champions League?
No, I mean like win a match in the Champions League.
Ah, okay,
Don't
okay.
win the Champions League. So let's move on to Man City Wolves. This was you say before maybe a few weeks ago. I said this match was a perfect layup for Man City for them to weaken their form, and in a way, it was, but it wasn't all smooth sailing because getting to the latter stages, Wolves started to grow a bit into the match. But Man City did what they had to do. They scored 2 early goals. They rested. I can say they rested or they dropped Haaland, depending on how you look at it, because he had not scored open play. He has not scored an open play goal, I think, in 8 matches. The last goal he scored was a penalty. So you could say maybe he's lacking a bit of confidence. That's why Pep Guardiola dropped him to get him a bit out of the firing line. But anyways, Umar Mamouche and Antoine Semenyo stepped up for them. They scored the early goal, so they settled the nerves of the fans. Where they settled the nerves of the fans to understand because they're not restless. Like if the match had gone on for a while without City scoring, you see fans be groaning, and that creates a sort of anxiety in the stadium. But they dealt with that by scoring early, which helped deal with that. Then also by winning, they have ended up closing the gap to Arsenal to 4 points. Who play tomorrow? So let's see how they perform tomorrow when they play. So Ferdinand, do you want to add something to the match? About
I mean, nah, it was fairly straightforward for Man City. I don't think they had any problems. Uh, I think they rested Erling Haaland because uh, I know a man.
yeah, I'll say they dropped him, rested. Yeah.
Nah, because a lot of people were complaining about the amount of game time he had, and they were saying he has been playing consistently without having rest, even though Mamush has been in the squad. He has played most of their matches this season, and I think
I don't buy that he was dropped because he was not on format. It's a story for another time. Now let's talk about and the face Bournemouth and then we brought down to reality. Feels like this season Van Dijk has been involved in a lot of mistakes.
Shed. No, yeah, Joining us right now is Clarence. We didn't have him at the beginning of the episode, so right now he's joining us. And Clarence, what do you think about the Liverpool game?
Well, the Liverpool game, Liverpool's performance was not really that good. I honestly don't know what they were playing. Bournemouth really had them in like the first 30 minutes of the game, and then they also tried pressuring Bournemouth back, and then they got one goal back by halftime. So the first half was in Bournemouth's favor. Second half, they came out dominating the game as well. Bournemouth still had their chances. Liverpool were still creating chances at the end. But all in all, the performance was not good from Liverpool. I'm not gonna lie. The defense is sloppy now. I don't know. Kekis and Frimpong are now easily to bypass on the on the flanks, and right now Van Dijk not knowing who he's partnering with this season is causing problems at the back. If it's Gomez, if it's Konate, it's that's a huge problem right there. Soboslai was good throughout the game. He and Vets tried creating some good chances, but still, that leads a game-winning goal from Bournemouth just goes to show you what's going wrong with Liverpool this season.
I think Salah was pretty terrible this game. He couldn't get past anybody, not even once. It was a passenger thought the entire game. I think Salah this season has been very underwhelming. You think after coming back from that AFCON break, you think you have some energy, like he's coming to prove a point after all that happened before the
Gone before the Afcon break.
before the AFCON break. You think
Yeah.
you agree because during the AFCON he had some like he scored in every single game during the AFCON. So he had some solid performances in the AFCON. So you think you come into the league with that. But this game it was so bad watching him. You see him try to dribble, then you lose the ball. It was sad because you know what Salah in his prime would have done. But this game
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah. It's just right now you can't even it's right. I don't know whether it's now easy for defenders to actually predict his
yeah,
movement. I don't know whether it's because he's aging, so he's gotten a bit slower. So even that they are still able to predict his movements and
yeah.
how and catch up with him on like pace. So he wasn't really that effective in the game just because he had the assist for Szoboszlai's goal, and then he just he just had that one. All in all, throughout the whole game, he wasn't really there. I don't know. Honestly, for Liverpool, I don't know. It's like this whole week. It's like maybe this week they perform, the following week they flop, they go like that. Then they bounce back with just one win and then or two wins, and then you don't see them again.
We, I feel like Bournemouth, there are things that they concede a lot of goals, so that's why they don't win a lot of goals
Yeah.
because almost when the stretch where they went 10
Winless.
was mostly because they end up conceding late goals.
Mm,
So I feel like if they can fit if they can fix their defense a bit, they will be way higher than because they have a potent attack. So they just like need some solid defensive cover, then they'll be good to go. Then I don't have
mm,
anything to add.
Oh, no, yeah. Apart from Sobos, like the attack has been weak. And Ekitike, I don't know why the coach has benched Ekitike again. What's this problem with Ekitike? Let the guy get consistent game time. Let him show what he's good at. Isaac is injured and you're still benching Ekitike. That's my problem with this thing. But let Ekitike play. He's the only consistent for it this season. So allow the guy to play. Give him game time. Yeah. So that was mostly what I have to say about Liverpool.
Yeah, I feel like I think it's because maybe that's when the whole Salah incident happened again. But I was a bit surprised that he didn't. I didn't. I was a bit surprised that he didn't play. But I mean, I thought he was injured. That's why he was not in the lineup. But if
nah.
well, let's see how the rest of the season goes for Liverpool. So
Me
not
right. I think right now
the
they are like
come on, I think the top four race now is just. tight because Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, Man United are basically fighting for, well, they are both fighting for two places right now, fourth and fifth. So depending on if England gets the Champions League, the fifth for Champions League space, but which I think it looks likely. But let's see how they finish the end of the season. I think they really need, even they spent a lot of money last summer. I feel like in the summer they have to spend a lot more because the team looks, I will not say it looks, I think it looks a bit worse and unbalanced compared to the team from last season.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's it.
yeah. Because
So,
if you look at their team, is like something's definitely gone wrong somewhere. Because it's like everywhere is not balanced. That's what we are looking at right now. Nowhere is balanced, right? And I think Slot in a way is still overthinking his selections sometimes, or it's because teams figured out the lineups, even with the players from last season, have found a way to adapt to any of the squad he picks. And I don't know whether is the style of play. It can't be the formation. It's definitely the style of play. Teams now know how to play against Liverpool. That's just the way it is right now. They just know how
honestly,
to play against Liverpool.
I don't necessarily think it's sort of. I just think the players that were on form last season are just not on form. That is why they are struggling at. And the new players and the new signings have taken a lot of time to adapt to the team and the Premier League.
Mm,
That's what they're struggling. That's what I think. And plus, they didn't invest in their defense. If
yeah.
there's if there's nothing else, and I think this brings us to the end of the episode. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, let us comment your thoughts on the games today, which results surprised you, and if you think Liverpool make the top four or top five.